Hey y'all. So let's talk about the the sister who I can't remember her name. But there was a sister who was online talking about how she was on a cruise and there was a bunch of brothers and sisters who were also on a cruise, and they were being unruly and being uncivilized and being disruptive and causing a ruckus and carrying on. So, you know, some people feel as though the way that she spoke about it in her delivery was like she was worshiping non-African people, or trying to make it seem like, they're her parents, or, like she's making them superior, which I can kind of understand that. But I very much resonate with what she said, because somebody or somebody's more of us, I feel as though more of us need to address and call out these unruly individuals. I don't care what background or what ethnicity you are. If you are moving and your behavior is unruly, your behavior is uncivilized, and you can't go into certain places and conduct yourself like a civilized, normal human being, that's a problem. It really is a problem. And people don't think about how, because of current day, the state of, how the state or the condition of how our culture is present day and time, people already handle us a certain type of way and they look at us a certain type of way. So for a sister to say, see, that's why people look at us this way or that way, and that's why, we get treated this way or get treated that way. I don't have those experiences, but some people do, and they wonder why people don't want them in certain spaces or at a certain table, because quite frankly, they don't know how to act. So I think that she was spot on and on point to want to call out the brothers and sisters in the community that go in certain places and act unruly and act like they don't have no home training, or act like an animal and act like that they don't have no good sense or common sense. So then that leads me to my next thought, or my next topic of discussion, because there are certain people that I don't want to be around, and there's certain people that I refuse to be around. First of all, I don't want to be around certain people that's too loud and too rowdy, and I don't want to be around certain people that I feel like I have to look over my shoulder if they're in my presence. I don't move like that, and I can't be around certain individuals that conduct themselves in a certain type of way. You have to conduct yourself in a certain type of way to be in my presence, right? So, as I said, leading to my next point, because like I said in a previous video that I made, when you get to a certain level of awareness or a certain level of maturity or a certain age, when you're talking about vetting people or trying to figure out who you're going to keep around, who you're going to interact with, who you're going to do business with, and things like that, then you start considering whether the individuals are a liability or an asset. And when we're talking about individuals that go into certain public places and they don't know how to act, then that's really a liability more than an asset. And we don't need individuals around us that are liabilities, right? Some people, you can teach them certain things and you can hope that they'll catch on. But there's a lot of people that you can lead the horse to the water, but you can't make them drink it type deal, right? You try to lead and guide people, and it's like you're talking to a dummy or you're talking to a wall. You're exerting all of this extra energy for no reason, when you could have invested and, put that energy somewhere else or into someone else. So now that, I've said that and got that off of my chest, that goes with the point of the next point that I'm trying to make as far as the whole uniting. When we're talking about uniting our community, we talk about uniting our community. There's just some people that are not going to be able to make the cut. There's some people that just are not going to be able to go because they are too much of a liability, right? There's certain people that are a detriment to certain individuals. The way that they move, or the way that they gossip, or the way that they invest in trying to misunderstand certain individuals, or trying to make certain individuals the enemy, and just all of the toxicity, keeping up the toxicity, the leeches, those that don't want to invest, those that don't want to circulate the dollar in our community, those that don't want to address the issues within their residence, their home, their family, their household, those that don't want to address the issues with their children, those that don't want to raise their children, but they really can afford to be out, turning up every weekend, which is absolutely crazy to me. I don't see how people can be turning up every weekend when, you don't have all the other areas or bases covered. So I don't think that it is a wise idea to want to absolutely, totally unify with everybody, because some people are too much of a liability. You talk about a vetting process and vetting certain individuals, and whether it's doing business with them or whatever, certain interactions, there's just some people that are just too much of a liability, and they will be a hindrance to trying to get like-minded individuals such as myself, and people that are in, different positions, and those of us that have certain resources, and those that have the mind to link and to come together and to actually unify. It's a very doable thing, because our communities have so much resources. But anybody with vampiric energy, or those that are leeches, or those that are literally liabilities, they just not going to make the cut. They're just not going to be able to go. They're not going to be able to come. And some people say, oh, well, we're supposed to save these people, or save these people, or we're supposed to try to help over here and help over there. We help where we can, and it's called an investment, because we're not beating dead horses, and we're not leading horses to the water that's not gonna drink it, but yet they will drain you. They will take, but they're not adding unto, but they will drain you in the process. That is a liability. And as for those that are unaccountable for their bullshit, and they can't get their shit together, but they want to point the finger at other people, unaccountable adults, they're too much of a liability as well. Because if you can't figure out where you're wrong at, or where you can overcome, or where you can be better, then, or you can't be led, you can't be guided, you can't be taught, it's just like almost like a lost cause. So the thing is like, people that think like me, that really, want to see our communities come out on top, and to go to the next level, and to really do good consistently. I'm sure that, like-minded individuals want to really see all of us do well. But there's just some people that just can't be helped. They just can't. It's kind of like individuals in those institutions that have committed certain heinous crimes, like the sex crimes, or have a certain taste or liking into a certain age of individual. They say that, the psychiatrists or the psychologists, they say that those individuals, they can't be rehabilitated, right? So there's just some things that we accept and we move forward. Some people are just a lost cause, and it's unfortunate. But there are things that need to be spoken, things that need to be talked about. And there is some training on manners, mannerisms, and etiquette that needs to be addressed, that people need to be made aware of. And people really need to check their people, stop giving them passes, especially when they going in these places. And then it's like, oh yeah, people think that, oh yeah, that's why all of your people are like that. First of all of our skin folk ain't our kinfolk. Everybody that has, a skin tone like mine, I don't claim. Because some of them, I don't even know who they pray to. So it's a vetting process. Who sent you? And who do you pray to? Type deal. That's where I'm at with it. So anyways, it's a word. It really is. It's a word. People have certain connections, groups, and things, and they think, oh yeah, because we're all black, then we're all sisters or we are brothers. But some people just can't keep it real. They don't really have no integrity, or they real sketch in their ways or whatever. And it's like, and then you think there's people like me that want to be involved, that want to be connected, or want to sit at your table? No, I don't think so. No. But all in all, as a whole, we definitely have a lot of work to do. So may peace and prosperity be your portion. Ashe, ashe, and ashe.